Yo, what's up guys, it's your boy Sami here. Today we are gonna see, what if Naruto was the god of destruction, Universe 11, Part 1. Hope you'll enjoy this video. So before we start, please subscribe to our channel, and like this video. So let's get into the video. Naruto was beyond pissed. As he walked through the town, he and Jiraiya were currently in on their second year of their training trip. The reason for his sour mood was because Jiraiya, for what felt like the 100th time, had ditched him, and stole all his money to pick up chicks. He knew the difference between actual spy network information gathering, and just picking up chicks, as for the most part his supposed teacher had been doing the latter for the last 2 years. Hell, Jiraiya had barely taught him anything so far, only some taijutsu, and attempts to control Kyuubi's chakra with no luck. Other than that he had learned nothing new at all. Damn pervert. For once I thought I'd get an actual teacher, someone who will teach me something I can use to get stronger. But no. He's just like Kakashi, he blows me off, and expects me to do everything he thought, glaring, as he started walking through the forest surrounding the town. Poor little brat, ditched again by the pervert who has yet to teach you a thing, the Kyuubi said in a mocking tone, Naruto's anger allowing it to rear its head more. You have quite the terrible luck when it comes to teachers, as Naruto grit his teeth. You think I don't know that? Naruto yelled in his head, slamming his fist against a nearby tree, as the Kyuubi pointing out the obvious wasn't helping, and causing him to draw out a tail's chakra cloak. So? Are you just going to vent your frustration out here? Can't say I mind, really, given it lets me stretch in a sense, the Kyuubi said, smirking, as more chakra bubbled out of the cage, and caused the cloak to gain a tail. Yes. I'm going to vent cause I'm sick, and tired of being pushed aside. I'm tired of being deemed not important randomly by my teacher's sense of duty mood swings. He yelled back, slashing through a tree with the claws of his now two-tailed chakra cloak. Kyuubi continued to smirk, as Naruto started destroying the forest around him. Personally, while he didn't like the boy, he understood his frustration. And decided to let this slide a bit since he wanted to see if the boy's natural rage would either help him get free or maybe give the boy more control. If the boy gained more control, he was certain it wouldn't last too long, and if it led to him being freed, then all the better to let him continue his venting session. Either way, he wasn't in danger, and he had the chance of being freed. So this is the unruly energy I felt, as a voice spoke behind them, causing Naruto to quickly turn around to see a pale white-skinned and orange-haired clown smirking at him. The clown was indeed a clown from the hairstyle, red nose, face paint, and red lips, plus he wore an odd pink and blue outfit, as he looked at him with crossed arms. To think a savage like you would be able to catch my eye, as I was passing by. Guess there are surprises everywhere, even on this backwater planet, the clown said, as Naruto narrowed his now red eyes at him. Who the hell are you? Naruto asked about Kyuubi's influence, making him more brash than usual. Seems you really are a savage to speak this way to a god of destruction. I guess I can give you the honor of my name before I erase this chaotic energy from the universe, the clown said, making Naruto tense up while the clown smiled down at him. The name is Belmod, savor it well before you are erased, Belmod said before Naruto, deciding whoever this clown was, he wasn't going to let him supposedly erase him, and leapt at him with his chakra cloak claws aimed at his face. Whoever this clown was, he was incredibly fast and, as Naruto felt a blinding pain in his ribs, as he was sent flying away, incredibly strong. Damn, I think he broke a few ribs, Naruto thought, as he quickly got up, and tried to leap to the side to avoid Belmod, only to feel his arm get grabbed tightly before being sent flying through several trees. He coughed up blood, as he pushed himself up with one arm, the other being a mix of broken from Belmod having grabbed it, and dislocated from the throw, as he saw Belmod walking towards him with a purple and black orb floating above his palm. Kid. That thing in his hand does not feel good. Let me help you, and we might survive. Kyuubi yelled, as Naruto winced a bit, but nodded while Belmod chuckled at him. You really are some weak savage. Maybe after you're done I'll take a look around, and see if this planet needs to be destroyed if the inhabitants are like you, Belmod said with a cocky smirk before throwing the orb at him, and promptly turning around, and slowly walking away. Naruto braced himself as, with the help from the Kyuubi, he brought his tails up to defend himself, while the orb continued to push against them. This isn't going to last long. Whatever this orb is made out of is destroying my chakra, the Kyuubi said with a groan, as he felt his chakra fading fast. Brace yourself, as I'm going to have to push out more chakra for a second here. We have to send this back to that bastard. Kyuubi told him, as Naruto nodded, and dug his non-broken hand's fingers into the ground, as he felt searing pain run through his body. His vision started to blur a bit, as he saw a four-tail appear to help block against the orb, before he grit his teeth in frustration. He didn't want to die like this, and, as he struggled to stay conscious, a single image passed through his mind. Soccer. The thought of leaving her alone after they had both lost Sasuke was enough to create a burst of energy in him for one last push. He dug his fingers deeper into the ground before he and the Kyuubi roared, the shockwave and whip of his tails being enough to deflect the orb and send it rocketing back towards Belmod with a coating of red chakra, who was still sauntering away. As he was confident the orb was enough to end them. Belmod barely had any time to react, having lowered his guard from thinking a simple orb of destruction would be enough, before the orb shot through him. He fell to his knees, as the destruction energy tore through him. "You bastard." Belmod tried to yell, the clown's voice hoarse from the hole in his chest, while he tried to raise his hand towards Naruto, who was barely conscious. Though before he could do anything else his eyes went dull, and Naruto watched, as Belmod faded into nothing. "Serves you right, you psychopathic clown," Naruto said, as he couldn't help but laugh, despite the pain it brought him, while his cloak quickly faded. His strength quickly faded, as he fell on his chest, focusing on breathing while he hoped that Jiraiya would at least sense him draw out the Kyuubi's chakra. "Oh my," a female voice said in front of him, although he couldn't move to look to see who it was, "so Belmod was killed by you." Overconfidence seems to have been his downfall. "Can't say I'm too surprised, as he was always a bit full of himself," she said before she moved over to his side, so he could see her. The woman was very beautiful, with what he figured to be an E-cup chest, from what he could see from where he laid, and was a bit taller than him, with light blue skin, and white hair that was done in 2 ponytails, and a pair of small thin bangs on her forehead. Her violet eyes looked at him with curiosity, while she kneeled down to his level, which allowed him to make out more of her outfit. She wore a long-sleeved purple dress with puffy shoulders, a black cuirass with orange and white designs on it, and a red sash around her waist. The oddest part of her outfit was the large, but thin blue halo that floated around her neck, and a red and gold staff that had a floating black ball that was floating in the center of a floating ring. "Who are you?" Naruto choked out, worried that if she knew Belmod it meant she might try and finish him off for try and kill others like Belmod had said he was going to. "No need to worry, I am your angel Margarita," Margarita said with a warm smile that made him blush a bit before she cupped his cheek and softly stroked it, causing his blush to increase a bit. "I do have to say you are very different from Belmod, mainly you are much cuter than he was by far," she teased, as she continued to stroke his cheek with her thumb, before he found all his pain was now gone. "Naruto, young man, I am here because you are my new god," she added, making him raise an eyebrow, as he found himself able to push himself up, his arm fully intact again, and his ribs no longer in pain. "What do you mean? And how did you heal me?" Naruto asked, as Margarita smiled at him and helped him stand back up. "Because the one that causes the death of a god of destruction, such as you did by reflecting the destruction energy back at him, becomes the next god of destruction. This is done to ensure the Supreme Kai doesn't instantly die, and that I don't go into standby mode," Margarita said, only confusing Naruto more before she giggled, as she saw his confusion. "Relax, it will be explained, but you must come with me. Zeno-sama is expecting you, and we mustn't keep him waiting," she said, holding out her hand to him, as he stopped his hand midway before accepting it. A part of him trusted her, but another part was much too confused by everything that was happening. "I say trust her. She exudes a strong but calm aura, and she isn't lying to you. If she can explain all this god of destruction and angel business, then I say go with her," what Kyuubi said, as Naruto sighed. But nodded, since Margarita was their only way to explain what the hell just happened to him. "Fine, I'll come with you, Margarita. Let's go," he said, accepting her hand, as she smiled at him, and tapped her staff to the ground before the two of them disappeared. Zeno's palace. The place he found himself in when they arrived was incredible, as it was a room that glowed light blue with planets nearby outside the room with pillars scattered throughout. Naruto was quick to notice 4 other figures in the room, as well, 3 standing, as the 4th sat on a floating throne. The first looked like Margarita, but male and shorter. His white hair was short and slicked back, his halo was larger and floating above the back of his head. He wore a dark green outfit with an orange triangle on his shirt and a red belt with the kanji for great on it. The next 2 figures were 2 incredibly tall figures with cyan skin. Their outfits were a high-collared purple jacket that only allowed for their eyes and above to be visible on their faces with gold trimming, along with a gray shirt and pants under the cloak and gold boots. The last figure was sitting between the 2 tall figures and behind the halo-wearing man, and by far the most alien, as it was very short and small but had an oval-shaped hat with purple and teal skin. It wore a magenta and yellow-lined coat with yellow pants and magenta shoes. Its shirt was black and white with the kanji for all on the front twice. "Zeno-sama, I have returned with the one who killed Belmod, and made sure to heal him like you ordered," Margarita said, bowing her head, as the small figure nodded. "Greetings, Naruto, welcome to the king of all Zeno's palace. I am the Grand Priest, please come forward," the blue-skinned man said, as Naruto looked at Margarita. He nodded with a smile. "You were called here today because you were able to kill the god of destruction for your universe," the Grand Priest said, as Naruto frowned. "So am I in trouble for killing him?" It was self-defense, though Naruto defended before the Grand Priest laughed a bit and waved it off. "You are not in trouble, as Zeno-sama makes their title up for grabs to anyone who can kill them, although it is not common knowledge. If it were, then everyone would try to kill them, and things in the universes would be quite chaotic," the Grand Priest explained, as Margarita walked up beside him and cleared her throat gently while looking at the Grand Priest. "Father, I think it would be best to explain what gods of destruction are, and what they do." His planet has had no interactions with other races or planets, Margarita explained, as the Grand Priest, her apparent father, nodded. That explains why he looks confused, the man said with an understanding nod. You see, throughout the 12 universes there are beings called gods of destruction, who are roles created by Zeno-sama, the king and creator of all the universes. They, along with the Kai, bring balance to the universes. The gods of destruction destroy, and the Kais create. The gods can destroy whatever they like, as long as they expel the destruction energy, which is what made up the orb that Belmod shot at you. I suspect that red energy of yours, paired with Belmod's overconfidence, allowed the destruction energy to kill the one who created it. It was a rough fight, but Zeno-sama was impressed when the Grand Priest finished, as he turned towards the small figure who sat on a floating throne in between the two tall figures. So because I killed him I have to fill his role? Naruto asked, as Zeno nodded, and hopped down from his throne. Yes, plus you seemed really cool with that bubbly red energy around you, so I thought it'd be interesting to make you a god. If you were able to surprise Belmod, then it'll be really cool to see how strong you get with training, Zeno said, as Naruto nodded, but frowned a bit, as this was all too much for him all too quickly. Are you sure you want someone as young as me? I am 14, and I have something somewhat dangerous in me, Naruto said with a frown, as Zeno turned his head to the side, confused a bit. I don't care about your age, and if the thing is dangerous, then I can destroy it for you, so you can accept my job, Zeno said, holding up his hand that glowed bright white, making the Kyuubi inside him freak out a bit before Naruto shook his head quickly to stop him. No, it's not that dangerous. Actually, if it wasn't for it I wouldn't have won, Naruto said, hearing a sigh of relief in his head, as Zeno lowered his hand. Guess my last question is, can I still go back home whenever after this? He asked, as Zeno nodded. I don't really care what you do, as long as you keep your mortal rate high, and do your job, Zeno said somewhat bluntly, as Naruto chuckled, and nodded. Well, then I guess I accept. Guess you'll be my boss from now on in a way, Zen-chan. I look forward to doing my best, Naruto said, as he held out his hand towards the small king of all, smiling at him, as everyone in the room tensed up before Zeno accepted the hand, and let Naruto shake his hand. Then I officially dub you the god of destruction of Universe 11, Zeno said with an ever so slight smile, as his hand glowed again while they were shaking hands, and a bright light engulfed the two of them. He had to grit his teeth a bit, as he felt immense energy shoot through him before the light died down, and he noticed his clothes were replaced with an outfit similar to Belmod's. Around his neck, and draped on his shoulders, was a black collar with gold lining around the outer and inner edges, and a white and orange circle on the front of it, with an orange loose long-sleeved shirt under it. He found golden bangles on his biceps, and gold bracelets around his wrists over the shirt. His pants were thankfully black instead of Belmod's pink and blue, with a black thin banner of sorts with white lining, and a white circle, and 3 orange diamonds on it. Around his waist was a red sash, and in place of his sandals were a pair of tan-pointed boots that were kept on with a golden bangle around his ankle. All in all, he liked the new outfit, and it gave him a sense of power on its own. But, as he looked, his outfit over his hand instinctively went to his chest while he felt around until he felt the familiar necklace was still hanging in place. At least Tsunade Oba-chan's necklace is still here, he thought with a smile, as he didn't want to tell her he lost it when it meant so much for her to give it to him. Congratulations, Naruto. If you need anything, ask your angel Margarita, and she will help you, as much as she can, the Grand Priest said, as Naruto watched Zeno jump back up onto his floating throne. I meant to ask, but what exactly is this angel talking about? Naruto asked before Margarita stepped forward, looking to the Grand Priest to ask if she could explain before the Grand Priest nodded. You see, Naruto, all gods of destruction are looked after and trained by an angel who is their attendant. Think of me as a secretary and trainer for you. I am to stay by your side and aid you in any way you see fit, she said, as Naruto nodded with a frown before nodding, as he seemingly understood it in the end. Here, come, I can explain it better at the Kai's planet, rather than here since Zeno-sama and the Grand Priest are quite busy, Margarita said, motioning Naruto to follow while he looked at Zeno and the Grand Priest, who both nodded a bit before he followed her. If you need to speak to us again, feel free to have Margarita call me, and we can work something out, the Grand Priest said, as Naruto nodded and let her teleport him away again. Kai's planet. Naruto was once again in awe at the new place he found himself in, as it was full of clear fields and trees in the color of full, with floating islands scattered in the sky. Wow, this place is beautiful, Naruto said before he heard a voice chuckle, causing him to look around to see a man walking towards him. The man had light purple skin and pointed ears that had a green and gold earring on each ear, and a white mohawk that was slicked back. The man was somewhat short, as he wore a red vest with pointed shoulders and gold trimming that had a blue sash around the waist of it, a long-sleeved green shirt under it, a pair of black baggy pants, and a pair of boots. All in all, the man gave off a warm aura as he walked towards them with a soft smile. I am glad you think so, sir. I am Kai, the Supreme Kai of Universe 11, and the one whose life is linked with yours, Kai said, as Naruto frowned, and Margarita stepped forward to offer an explanation. You see, to ensure balance is kept, all Supreme Kai have their lives linked with the god of destruction of their universe. This is to make sure you don't kill them all, or they don't decide to get rid of you. They serve as allies, and equals to you, she explained, making Naruto nod, and smile towards Kai. Well Kai, I look forward to working alongside you, Naruto said, as he shook the man's man who shook it back. So what is the first step of being a god of destruction? Like should we start training? Naruto asked if Margarita could be an actual teacher for him, unlike his last two. Yes. Training is the perfect start for things. I recommend starting right away unless you want to do it back on your home planet, she said before he shook his head. No, here is fine, and honestly way better, but we need to go back for just a moment, so I can leave a note for the man I was traveling with. After that we can start, I promise, as I am excited to start, he explained, as Margarita nodded with a smile. Let's hope third time's the charm with you, Kyuubi said, speaking up for the first time since finishing Belmod off besides his various reactions during meeting Zeno. I wonder will this inflate your ego now that you are a god? I swear you humans are so quick to become conceited, it added with a growl of annoyance, as Naruto sighed mentally. I don't intend to get cocky, hell if it wasn't for your help we'd both be dead by now, which is why I want your help, as well Naruto told it, as he accepted a pen and paper on a clipboard from Kai, to write his message to Jiraiya. My help? Are you sure you don't mean my chakra claws? I doubt I'd be able to stop you now, it said while Naruto frowned, and shook his head slightly. No, I want your help, you're training a bit, as well. I don't want us to butt heads anymore. You aren't some mindless beast of only anger, as a mindless beast wouldn't do so much to save me, and help me. If we are to be stuck together then why not work together to better our situation, just think about it, he told it, as he finished his letter. He will go to where I last was, as the man I was with will check there due to feeling my energy there. I was 2 years into my 3-year trip, so I figured 6 or so years could be good before I returned, he said, as Margarita rubbed her chin with a bit of a frown. With that timetable we have to train hard nearly every day and night to get you even remotely close to the other gods. Plus paired with your duties, as god of destruction, things might get a bit hectic. Are you willing to put yourself through all that? She asked, as Naruto clenched his fists. Tell her yes, as I'll be training you, as well, the Kyuubi said begrudgingly with a sigh. Your chakra control is crap, and you need more elemental under your belt, which I can teach a bit of what I've picked up from my years inside and around Shinobi. Plus with the secret of the shadow clones, it is safe to say you have an edge you can use to better yourself, Kyuubi said, making Naruto smile, as he looked at Margarita. I'm more than ready. Don't hold back, Naruto said, speaking to both Margarita and the Kyuubi, as his angel smiled and nodded. Well then, let's drop this letter off and begin right away, she said with an excited smile, while Naruto could feel the excitement burning in his gut. He was going to get stronger no matter what, and with Margarita and the Kyuubi on his side, there was a definite chance he could achieve great heights. Konoha a few days later. Tsunade was beyond furious, as she read Naruto's letter that Jiraiya had found near where the Kyuubi's chakra had been let out at. Dear Jiraiya. After 2 years of basically no training I've decided to go out on my own after finding a better teacher. They will actually teach and train me to get stronger, instead of constantly ignoring me to hit on chicks. I plan to return to Konoha in 6 years after I have made progress in actual training. I have come into a situation that requires me to undergo a lot of training, so I can protect those close to me. Please tell Sakura-chan that I still intend to fulfill my promise I made her, and Tsunade Oba-chan that I will stay safe and grow strong enough to take her hat from her. What the hell is wrong with you? Tsunade yelled, as she slammed her fist into Jiraiya's head, sending the gray-haired Sannin flying through the wall, and the one after that. You told me you were going to be serious about this, Jiraiya. She yelled, as she watched Jiraiya sit up, and wipe the blood that leaked out from his mouth. Home don't call me home. This isn't the time to joke around. Naruto is gone, and who knows where he is or if he's safe. Tsunade yelled, interrupting him, as she slammed open the door that led to the room that the first hole she made led into, and walked towards him with a glare. She was thankful the rooms were empty, and, as usual, everything was soundproofed with a seal, so she didn't have to act calm in this situation, as she wasn't sure she could honestly. That boy was the one all her hope was placed on. If he died or something happened to her, she honestly wasn't sure how she'd handle it. I know. Jiraiya yelled, as he stood up, and dusted himself off, and went through the hole Tsunade sent him through so they were in the same room again. I know he's alive at least, as his name on the toad summoning scroll isn't faded, but the elders can't reverse summon him, he said, as he pulled the scroll out and unrolled it to show her his name was still bold and legible. Tsunade's fears were immediately lessened as she took the scroll from Jiraiya and walked back to her office before she set it down on her desk that was surprisingly still intact despite her rage. Why can't they reverse summon him? I thought summons could reverse summon their contractors no matter the distance. She asked, as Jiraiya, who had followed behind her after she took the scroll, shook his head. They said something about him being way too far away, which is weird given, as you said, the toad should be able to reverse a summoner anywhere, Jiraiya said, as he rubbed his chin in thought. I'm already having my network keep an eye out for him discreetly, and I'm going to investigate the place where I found this note again more in depth, Jiraiya said, as he reached for the scroll only for her to slap his hand away. I'm keeping this here. It'll help to ease my worries, and allow you to send toads directly to me with this if you find news on him, she said, as Jiraiya nodded, knowing it was useless to argue with her about it. Fine, I'll let you know the second I find anything. I'm sorry again, Jiraiya said, as Tsunade let out a tired sigh. I'll accept your apology when you find Naruto, but from the sound of this you'll have to work for his forgiveness, as Tsunade said, making Jiraiya wince a bit. He knew of Kakashi's laziness and favoritism of Sasuke, causing him to ignore both Naruto and Sakura, the latter of which I am taking under my wing. So why did you not try and set a better example, and actually train him with the 2 years you have had so far? Tsunade asked, as with Naruto being the son of Jiraiya's last student, a man he saw as a son, she had expected Jiraiya to be much more attentive than this. My main focus was trying to give him control over the Kyuubi, he said bluntly, as Tsunade frowned. And while you were having trouble with this you decided to not work on anything else. She pointed out, making Jiraiya wince again, which made her sigh again. Just go do your best to find him, and then we'll talk. If you find anything, send a toad right away. You're dismissed, Tsunade said, as Jiraiya nodded, and left through the door behind him, showing how down the man was, as the window was his go-to entrance and exit. She couldn't help but frown, as she ran her finger over her name in Naruto's letter. I hope you're safe out there, brat. When you return I'm going to give you a piece of my mind for making me worry, she thought, as she called Shizune over the intercom to get a repair team down here to fix her 2 walls. Kai's planet 2 months later. Naruto grunted from blocking a strong strike, skidding back from the force of it before crashing through a nearby tree. Though, unlike when Belmod threw him through several, it didn't hurt as bad. His training with Margarita was rather intense, like she said it would be from the start, but he didn't mind, as it felt great to get actual training for once. After his first few days of training, despite surprising him at first, he realized he had gained a good deal of skills from becoming a god of destruction. The first was that he was now incredibly durable to the point he could be sent crashing into the ground, and could dust it off for the most part. Margarita though warned him that it did not mean he was invulnerable, and could just let others hit him with a barrage of attacks, and only that his skin was now much thicker than most races. She equated it to armor that would eventually wear thin or break if hit too much, or with a strong enough attack. The second was he gained new energy called Kai, that was much easier to control than chakra, although his Kai was categorized as godly Kai, due to his potency. He found that with it he could fire blasts from his hands, and, if he learned to use it well enough, could do devastating attacks said to be able to blast apart moons without using destruction energy. Both Kai and Margarita had been teaching him how to use Kai, and his new destruction energy. The last major thing was that he found that he could naturally fly without thinking about it. Margarita had been quite the prankster though, as she revealed this by pushing him off one of the floating islands, only to innocently giggle when he frowned at her for scaring him. He was still getting the hang of flying and fighting in the sky, but after she explained it to him he was getting a much better grip of it. For the first few days they were working on getting him a solid style, given the academy style was not suited for him, and, while he was more of a brawler, he needed some baseline form to work off of. Margarita, while having a sweet appearance, was quite ruthless in terms of training. She held no punches, and didn't let him rest during any moment of it, until the timer ran out each time. It was on their first day that he learned that all angels were the strongest beings in their respective universe. Though thankfully he was learning, and growing even faster than Margarita had expected, once the Kyuubi had revealed a handy secret behind shadow clones. It turned out anything learned by a shadow clone would be transferred back to him once it dispelled. Kyuubi was surprised he hadn't figured this out yet, but given that when he learned it, he only skimmed over the instructions for the technique, and not the notes on it, it made sense why he didn't know of it. With the use of clones, and the Kyuubi's instructions he was making good progress on reining in his chakra control, as well as learning some more that it was teaching him. Plus now he didn't have to stress about working on his god of destruction powers, and his chakra skills at the same time. Your movements are much too rigid, Naruto-kun, you must relax, and let your body move more fluidly. If you are too tense you leave yourself wide open, Margarita said, as she appeared in front of him before whacking him a few times with her staff, before she hit the center of his chest with a palm thrust, all being way too fast for him to block. And powerful enough to send him skidding back even faster. She has a point. Your past and lack of training has made you rigid. This will be hard to counter, but I think we can do it given you have 6 years to work on it, Kyuubi said, as Naruto nodded, quickly getting back up, and smacking away another attempted whack from Margarita's staff. Good, you're learning to react faster. For someone who was merely human 2 months ago I'd say you are doing decent. If you keep moving at this speed you'll be fine by the time the 6 years end. Though tomorrow we are planning to go to the planet Belmod use, as his home, mainly to meet with a group of loyal fighters, that need to be brought up to speed on what has happened, Margarita explained, as Naruto frowned. Will everything seriously go over well? I mean, if they were loyal to Belmod, are we sure they'll be loyal to me, and not want to get revenge? Naruto said, as he really didn't want to potentially deal with something like that. Oh, do not worry, Naruto-kun, as they are loyal to justice. As long as you prove yourself to be kind, then you will have nothing to worry about. Plus they are powerful fighters of Universe 11 who could possibly help with your training, Margarita said with a smile before she tapped her staff on the ground and cleared her throat. But enough talking, training must resume, she said, giving him no time to react before he was on the defensive again. The next day, Naruto was slightly nervous as they arrived at Belmod's old planet, as the fighters he was planning to meet today would be brought here later today, and he was still a bit worried about whether or not they would accept him. New master. Welcome to our planet, we hope you enjoy it, as we work to serve you, several women said, as Naruto noticed they were all wearing clown or jester outfits, as they bowed to him. Margarita, what do they mean? Naruto asked, as Margarita nodded before motioning towards the women. Belmod had an arrangement worked out with this planet. It was one where girls of his choice were to serve him well dressed like how he wanted them to, and he wouldn't destroy this planet. Of course you are not bound by it, and may destroy it if you wish. I can easily change the location of our meeting if you want, she said, making the girls shiver and flinch in fear of being destroyed. Wait. Please don't. We can serve you too, young master. Please don't destroy us and our planet. One girl begged, as she bowed in front of him, even going as far as to sit and do it on the floor. Naruto felt his gut churn as he learned how Belmod was basically extorting these women and their planet for servants in exchange for not destroying them. Stop bowing, please, Naruto said, as he gently grabbed her hands and made her stand up, frowning at the tears running down her face. I have no intention of destroying your home, and you all don't have to serve me or dress up like this, he added with a soft smile, making them white in their eyes. Really? One whispered out, afraid he was toying with them, only for him to nod. Yes, I promise, and I will never go back on a promise. Ever, he said before all the women burst into tears and dove at him. He was surprised and started to blush dark as the women started to hug him, repeatedly thanking him before they all kissed his cheeks. As they pulled away and wiped their tears, they and Margarita from the sidelines couldn't help but giggle at Naruto's dark red blush as black lipstick kiss marks were all over his cheeks. Thank you so much, young master. Know you are always welcomed on this planet, and we will make your visits joyful, one girl said, as she happily clapped her hands before they all giggled, as Naruto cleared his throat and accepted a napkin from Margarita to clean his cheeks. Well, I am just happy to remove you all from forced servitude, he said with a smile before his eyes whitened slightly, as he felt a collection of energies arrive outside. Most of them, well, high, weren't too high to really worry him, but among the group there were two energies that were insanely high. Though even among those two there was one singular energy that was immense that slightly worried him. Oh? They're right on time. Come, Naruto-kun, the Pride Troopers await, Margarita said, as she waited for him before following once he gathered himself and headed out. First thing he noticed, besides the various alien races of their members, was their uniform. They all wore red and black spandex outfits with the red portion V-shaped with white boots and white gloves. So you are a new god of destruction. What is your name? One figure asked, as he stepped forward. The figure was easily the tallest with tanned skin, pointed ears, bald and hairless, except for a large white mustache that covered his mouth. He also had easily the largest hands. I am Naruto Uzumaki, and yes, I am the new god of destruction. I became it after killing Belmod, who attempted to kill me, Naruto said, as the man started to walk closer to him, looking down at him due to his height. And why did you kill him? The man asked, as Naruto worked on staying calm, as the last thing he needed was to anger someone and have it lead to a fight, especially considering they outnumbered him 10-1 with one of them feeling incredibly powerful. He threatened to kill me and my entire planet just because I was venting in a forest and training more or less. It was in self-defense and not out of gunning for his position or me seeking him out. I didn't even know what a god of destruction was until I defeated him and was made the god of destruction by Zeno, Naruto said, as he kept eye contact with the large man. I killed Belmod to save my planet and everyone close to me. I don't regret it, he added calmly before the man's mustache twitched and he gave him a hard pat on the back. Ah. I knew I sensed the spirit of justice in you. I was worried our new boss would be some vile man. Guess my worries were for nothing, the large man said, his mustache twitching seemingly from a smile, as he could see it in the man's eyes. My name is Toppo, leader of the Pride Troopers. Come, let me introduce you to the others, Toppo said, as he gently put his hand on his back and guided him towards the others. First, I'd like to introduce you to my lieutenant and second in command of the Pride Troopers. Meet Jiren, Toppo said, as he motioned to the emotionless-looking figure that the immense power was radiating off of. Jiren was tall, but a good head shorter than Toppo with gray skin. He was muscular with large round black eyes and two nostrils in place of an actual nose, as well as a hole on either side of his head in place of actual ears. Like Toppo, he too wore a red and black spandex suit with white boots and gloves. Nice to meet you, Jiren, Naruto said, holding out his hand towards Jiren before the man looked him over and accepted his hand. Nice to meet you too. I hope you command us well, Jiren said, making Naruto raise an eyebrow a bit. You mentioned that too, Toppo, me being your boss. I mean, I know I'm the god of destruction of this universe, but am I really your boss? He asked, as Toppo nodded. We Pride Troopers serve as your soldiers. We are sent to planets to eliminate threats for you, as agents of destruction. Despite that classification, we are heroes of justice, Toppo said, as Naruto nodded. Us 10 though make up the main force, and strongest, although all other members are very close to strength to use besides Jiren, and Toppo explained as, given they were a force sent throughout the universe, having only 10 members would be difficult to manage. Ah, okay, I get it now. So you weren't going to try and kill me or anything? Cause honestly I was worried you all were super loyal to Belmod and would end anyone who took his job, Naruto said, as Toppo nodded, seemingly understanding his worry. We would have if you were evil or dark of heart, but I see no reason to worry, do you, Jiren? Toppo asked while Jiren silently shook his head. He seems fine, we can ask him more about himself later, Jiren said before Toppo nodded. Yes, let's continue with introductions, and we can all sit down and talk. Toppo added with a smile before one by one the others were introduced. Dispo was the next Pride Trooper he met, who was a purple humanoid cat with large ears, but lacking a tail. He wasn't as muscular as Jiren or Toppo, being leaner in build, which allowed him to move incredibly fast. After him was Khosrol, a human-looking man with a robotic right eye. He apparently drove the spaceship they rode in mainly, and was a professional warrior, and a master of Kai manipulation. He, like Jiren, was a high-ranking member of the Pride Troopers. Vuin, a dark orange-skinned tailless human-like lizard, was next, who specialized in capturing villains with Kai he could turn into a whip that wrapped around others. Tupper was next, and was a teal-skinned muscular man with dark blue hair, and a mustache, and beard. He had the interesting skill to control his weight, and petrify himself, allowing him to be a tank-like close-range fighter. The next after Tupper was Swery, who was rather odd given how small he was, only being as tall as a few other Pride Troopers' knees. He had purple skin, and a pair of outwardly curving horns, and green eyes. For his small size he was apparently quite durable, and quick on attacking. Kettle was another odd-looking Pride Trooper, looking similar to a catfish in terms of long whiskers, an amphibian green skin, and large yellow eyes. He was apparently best at overwhelming opponents with barrages of Kai orbs that he could create effortlessly, and very quickly. Kunchi was the next Pride Trooper he was introduced to, who was a blue-skinned, short ogre-looking man with purple spots on his head, and pointed ears. He was apparently able to create threads of energy that could either explode on contact or wrap around others with strong strength. The last Pride Trooper was the only female of the group, and, as she smiled at him, he found her to be rather beautiful. Her name was Kokot, and she was human-looking with light pink skin, very long dark pink hair, pointed ears, and lime green eyes. Her lips, which were curved into a smile, were colored a soft blue with lipstick. Her figure too was rather strong, with an easily eye-cut chest that wasn't hidden, due to the tight spandex outfit she wore, as a Pride Trooper, and a bubbly rear. Though he had to look away, Margarita's laugh from beside him made him blush. Kokot's skills were much more defensive-based, as she could create powerful domes of energy around both herself and allies for protection, or around her enemies to contain them for capture. That is definitely a lot to take in, but I hope I work well with you all, Naruto said with a smile, making Toppo chuckle, and pat him on the back again. So do we, Lord Naruto. I do hear though you are focusing on training. If you wish we can help you with it, Toppo said, as Naruto was a bit surprised by this. Well, first don't call me Lord, seriously just call me Naruto. And are you sure? Shouldn't you all be, I don't know, focusing on keeping things calm until I'm more able to help? He asked, as Dispo walked forward with a smirk. Training you is doing both though, as if we help you get stronger on our off time, we ensure you'll be able to deal with your duties, as a god of destruction, he said, as Margarita nodded, and walked up beside him. I agree, the Pride Troopers will help immensely with your progress. That is another reason I called them here, as I thought that with their help when they could spare it would speed things up even more, since Jiren here was stronger than Belmod, Margarita said. As he honestly didn't doubt it given how Jiren felt. Things are definitely getting interesting for you, kid. I truly wonder how strong you will become by the time your self-imposed 6 years are over, the Kyuubi thought with a smirk, as Naruto walked the Pride Troopers inside to talk things out more, and figure out how the training would go down. Naruto felt a bit better about everything, as he suggested a way to get to know them a bit better, similar to how Kakashi started things off when Team 7 was just formed. One by one they had gone around, and told their likes, dislikes, and dreams for the future. He had learned a lot about each Pride Trooper, like how Jiren liked to balance rocks and meditate, how Kokot loved chocolate, and how Toppo disliked it when people made fun of his mustache. Though all of them shared the liking of justice and disliking of evil, that was to be expected. As for dreams, for the most part they all wanted to ensure peace in their universe, which resonated with him, as he wanted to do the same back home. So where do we start with you training me? Naruto asked, as Toppo stroked his mustache with 2 fingers, as if to show he was in thought. We need to find your current level, and assess where to start. For that I'd suggest fighting against Jiren, Toppo said, as he patted Jiren on the back with a smile. That is very smart given Jiren is the strongest Pride Trooper, even surpassing Belmod. Either him or Toppo would be best to gauge your skill given Belmod had decided on Toppo, as his eventual replacement Margarita said, as Naruto's eyes widened, as he quickly turned to Toppo in shock. Wait. You were in line to become the next god of destruction? He asked, as Toppo nodded while rubbing the back of his head. Then why aren't you upset that I stole it from you or something? He asked before the large man chuckled, and waved it off. Truthfully I was not much for it, as being a god of destruction seems like a role that would involve occasionally stepping back on the oaths I made when I joined the Pride Troopers. So in hindsight I am glad you took the job from me, and that you seem better than Belmod, Toppo said with a sigh, as Naruto raised an eyebrow at him. Yeah, you mentioned how you would have killed me if I was evil, but that doesn't explain why you didn't do that with Belmod, as he seemed pretty bad, Naruto said before Toppo sighed again. That is because Jiren had beaten him in the past, and made Belmod swear to reform. Jiren could have killed him in the past, but Jiren has sworn never to take a life. We honored Jiren's deal with Belmod, but we're ready to take him down if he broke his promise which, from what you told us, he either was on his way to or has possibly done so before now, Toppo said before smiling at Naruto. Honestly I am happy for how things turned out, as not only was Belmod taken out, but our new god is someone who shares in our dream of peace. That is why I am excited for us to start training, so please, spar with Jiren, so we can see your current level, Toppo encouraged, as Naruto rubbed the back of his neck a bit before Jiren walked up to him. Do not worry, I won't attack for the first part while I determine your level, and you don't have to worry about hurting me. Go all out, Jiren said in a serious tone, as Naruto frowned, but nodded. If this man is stronger than that clown, then I highly doubt you'll be able to actually hurt him with only 2 months worth of training. Use my chakra if you must, but I'll mainly be watching to see you get your ass kicked, Kyuubi said, as Naruto sighed in his head, as the Pride Troopers stepped back to the sidelines beside Margarita. Whenever you are ready, Jiren said, as he crossed his arms, waiting for him to attack first. Honestly he knew he wouldn't be able to actually do much against Jiren, as he knew that power level wasn't for show. Okay, if I'm going to display my strength I have to do my best, he thought, as he stretched a bit before suddenly dashing at Jiren, appearing before him, as he leapt up to launch a kick at the man's face. As the kick connected he wasn't surprised to see Jiren not even budge from his spot, while he had the same calm look on his face. That spurred him to continue, jumping back before he summoned a few clones to help attack, as well. Let's see if I can even get him airborne, Naruto thought, as 6 clones surrounded him, and crouched down before launching a kick up at him, glad to see it was enough to send him flying up. Nah! Naruto yelled, as Jiren flew up before Naruto, and several clones flew up after him. Ru! He continued, as he and a few clones kicked him higher up. 2! He yelled, adding another strong kick upwards before he and a clone appeared above Jiren with an Adama Rasengan each in hand. Uzumaki full force combo. He yelled, as the 2 Adama Rasengan were slammed into Jiren, causing the man to rocket back down, and create a rather large crater from the impact. As Naruto landed he kept on guard, as he could see the outline of Jiren walking out of the crater through the dust. For 2 months worth of training that is on average speed and strength that I was expecting, Jiren said, as he dusted himself off. But you are definitely holding back, so I'll have to see for myself, he added before Naruto widened his eyes. As Jiren suddenly appeared before him with Jiren's fist embedded in his gut. As Naruto was sent flying backwards, flipping end over end from the force of the blow, he quickly righted himself, and, with the help of 2 clones, flung himself back towards Jiren. Fine. I'll show you, but despite the feeling this energy radiates, the source saved my life against Belmod. I owe them a lot, Naruto said, as he quickly gained the bubbly red one-tailed cloak, and threw a punch at Jiren. He continued to attack, launching his barrage of attacks at Jiren, before slamming his fists on the ground to create a dust cloud around them. Jiren though effortlessly blocked a kick to his head from behind, as he looked behind to see Naruto smirking at him. Got you, he said before disappearing in a puff of smoke. And this is it. Adama Vermilion Rasengan. Naruto yelled, as he appeared in front of Jiren with an Adama Rasengan enshrouded in the Kyuubi's cloak, its chakra mixing with his to create a more powerful Rasengan. The cloak came in handy, as it helped contain the Rasengan, and keep it from going out of control, and allow him to control it, as he slammed it into Jiren's gut. As the Rasengan tried to tear into Jiren, it eventually exploded, sending the man flying backwards, spinning in midair before he crashed into one of the floating islands on the Kai planet. That is all I got, Naruto said with a sigh, as he sat down on the ground, dispelling the cloak, as he saw Jiren hop down from the island he crashed into, and started to walk back towards him. He did well, more than I was honestly expecting, Jiren said, as he dusted himself off again, showing no damage from any of Naruto's attacks. Yes, I have to agree, Toppo said, as he and the other Pride Troopers walked up to them. Your reflexes in reacting to Jiren's hit were quick, and you didn't let up. Your cloning power and the orbs you used were quite destructive, as was that red cloak, he continued, as he stroked his mustache. Though you have a long way to go to train to become stronger, Jiren pointed out, while Naruto nodded. I know I do, I just became the god of destruction. I defeated Belmod by sheer luck and determination, Naruto said, as he looked down at his clenched fists before looking up at the Pride Troopers. That is why I want your help. Help train me to where I can be strong enough to protect those I care about, and protect this universe. I'll admit I'm still weak, but I know I can grow stronger if I have teachers like you, he said before Toppo put his hand on his shoulder with a smile and a thumbs up. You can count on us, Naruto. We will do our best to train you with all our might, while helping keep order until you are strong enough to do it on your own. We can even take you on missions to help get real-world experience. I assure you that we will make you grow stronger. Toppo beamed, as Naruto couldn't help but smile, as he could feel the Pride Troopers would be able to help him immensely in his desire to grow stronger. By the time the 6 years were up, who knew how strong he'd be, but he was sure he'd be strong enough to protect those who he holds dear. -1 year since Naruto became a god, 10 months since Pride Troopers training started. Naruto stayed focused, as he leapt back to dodge a barrage of blasts from Toppo, the leader of the Pride Troopers who was one of the people helping in his training today, before Naruto quickly reached out to grab Dispo's first, just before he was about to hit him. He didn't waste any time before he quickly threw Dispo towards Toppo, making the leader stop his blasts long enough for Naruto to use that as an opening to rush forward and launch a strong kick at Toppo's head, only for a barrier from Koka to block him. The barrier only lasted a second, as he quickly followed up with a destruction energy-infused fist with just enough energy to break through it and not endanger Toppo, as the punch continued towards his face, only for him to block it with a smile. Good, your reactions are much faster, and you followed through perfectly. You weren't even slowed down when Koka blocked you, Toppo said, as he relaxed to show the training was done for now. Thanks, I can finally say I'm getting the hang of things. That barrier took a bit more to destroy, you're getting stronger for sure, as well, Koka, Naruto said with a smile towards the pink-haired woman who smiled back and giggled slightly. Thank you, Naruto-sama, Koka said with a smile, as she brushed a lock of hair behind her ear, and blushed, as Dispo and Toppo chuckled at her. Naruto was a bit proud of himself, as he felt he was finally getting into the swing of things. Being a god of destruction for a year, and being trained by the Pride Troopers and Margarita together for the last 10 months was intense, and helped a lot. None of the Pride Troopers held back in their training, with Jiren and Toppo being the toughest of the Pride Troopers, with Margarita still having the title as toughest trainer overall. She might look sweet and innocent, but she was ruthless when it came to training, and not holding back in order to help train him. With their help, not only was he faster and stronger than he ever thought he would be, but he was able to dodge better and could control his Kai even better, as well. He had even been able to create some special techniques of his own, but they were still being tweaked and smoothed over. While he trained in his God of Destruction powers, he still made sure to keep up on his chakra. His control wasn't perfect, but it had gotten to the point where he could form a Rasengan one-handed, and with help from the clones, he was able to learn a lot more actual. The Kyuubi was also a very big help, and they were even able to become closer to the point where he was told his name. It had all started when he brought up his chakra. Flashback a few months ago. I should have expected this, of course you'd come around and ask for my chakra. Kyuubi roared, as Naruto shook his head. That's not it. I came to ask about the seal. Naruto yelled, interrupting it from what it was about to yell next. The seal is supposed to gradually drain your chakra and add it to my reserves, right? I was wondering if you knew how to maybe make it so I can stop that from happening, he added, trying not to smirk or laugh, as he saw the shocked look on Biju's face. Why are you worrying about that? Shouldn't you be trying to speed up the process or something? It asked, as Naruto shook his head again. Well, I don't know if it was becoming a god of destruction or you deciding to help me, but it made me realize you aren't just chakra to drain from. I can feel your soul and your spirit even sealed away in me like this. You aren't some mindless beast, and you don't deserve this, Naruto said, staring up at the Kyuubi who stared back, as if trying to judge the sincerity. I know you don't trust me, Kyuubi, but I want you to begin, Naruto said, as he held his hand up to the cage, focusing on the paper seal before he channeled his destruction energy into it. Destruction, he said, as the Kyuubi watched the paper seal on the cage get vaporized, and the doors open up. I know well you can't really take control of me, so doing that didn't do too much, but I hope it goes to show I don't intend to keep you caged up, Naruto said, as he let the doors open up, while he looked at the somewhat shocked Kyuubi who stared down at him. I don't intend to keep you sealed away, Kyuubi. I'll look into freeing you, but for now you are entrapped, only merely waiting to leave fully, he added, as he turned to leave only to stop, as the Kyuubi cleared his throat. If you're serious about this, then the least you can do is call me by my real name, Kurama, partner, Kurama said with a smirk, holding out his fist towards Naruto who couldn't help but smile and bump his fist against the outstretched fist. Sounds good, Kurama, Naruto said, as he couldn't help but smile before Kurama huffed and turned away. Better not leave the others waiting too long. We'll continue our training soon, since with the opening of the seal, we'll be able to work together even more. You'll also be able to use more of my power, and since it'll be willingly given you won't be enraged anymore. I expect you to use it well, Kurama said with a smirk, as Naruto nodded with a smirk of his own. I promise I won't disappoint, he said, as he faded from their mindscape while Kurama chuckled and nodded. Doubt you will, boy, you've already surprised me greatly so far, Kurama muttered to himself, as he laid back down, smirking a bit at the now open doors to what was his cell only seconds ago. Flashback end. Since then he and Kurama had worked to synchronize their connection, and work together, and in turn, it changed the cloak from a red bubbly shroud into a full golden form that they were still working to get the feel for. As much as this training is going well, we have been called by the Grand Priest, as Zeno-sama has called in all gods of destruction, Margarita said, as she and Kai walked outside from the building on the Kai's planet that they all had been staying in. We cannot keep Zeno-sama waiting, Kai said nervously, as Naruto nodded and stretched a bit. Okay, then let's go. You all hold down the fort while we are gone, Naruto said while Toppo nodded with a salute. Do not worry, we will wait for you to return, Toppo said before Kai put his hands on both his and Margarita's shoulders and transported them away. Zeno's palace. Naruto kept a relaxed face as he, Margarita, and Kai appeared in Zeno's palace between the gods of destruction for the 10th and 12th universes. He quickly kneeled down with his angel and Supreme Kai as the last few gods of destruction showed up. Oh good, now that everyone is here our meeting can begin, the Grand Priest said, as he looked around at the various gods of destruction to ensure no one was missing. I am curious as to why we have been called, but I guess that can be answered by seeing the one in Belmod's place, a fox with 3 tails which surprised Kurama a bit from within him. Yes Liquor, as you can see Belmod has been replaced. He was killed in battle by Naruto 1 Earth year ago around this time. Since then Naruto has been the new god of destruction for Universe 11, the Grand Priest said, as he hovered over until he was in front of Naruto. How has being a god of destruction been for you so far? Your expulsion of energy is very decent for a first-time god, the priest asked, as Naruto nodded. Things have been good so far, they are going smoothly, and with the help of Margarita and some trusted people from my universe, I've been able to destroy things while still training, Naruto said, as the Grand Priest smiled and nodded. Good, Zeno-sama wishes to speak with you later, after the other gods give their reports privately, the Grand Priest said, as he walked towards what Naruto figured to be Zeno's chamber with a shorter god with a large bushy beard following behind him, leaving them to their own accords for the time being. So you are the new god for my mirrored universe, a woman said, as she walked towards him with a tall yellow-dressed male angel walking beside her. The woman was slender with light brown skin, green eyes with turquoise eyeshadow, red lipstick, and black hair with gold beads at the end. She wore the traditional outfit of most gods of destruction, with a white skirt that covered a rather plump rear, that was even more so than Margarita with a turquoise sash, and a golden small top that contained her seemingly H-cup chest underneath her collar. All in all she gave off an aura of immense power and beauty. Oh? Margarita told me of mirrored universes, so you must be the god of destruction for Universe 2, it is very nice to meet you. I'm Naruto Uzumaki, Naruto said with a smile, as the woman looked him over before smiling at him. I have to say you are better aesthetically than Belmod. My name is Hells, and this is Sour, she said motioning to her angel, and you are correct, I am the god of destruction for Universe 2. I hope to work well with you, Hells said, as she looked him over, as if to inspect him, but he didn't feel any dark motives, more just curiosity and interest. He though couldn't help but blush a bit as she smiled at him, her eyes meeting his before she softly stroked his cheek, although it was short-lived, as she was called next. I don't know why he's even here. He killed Belmod with a lucky shot. It should go to the next strongest in the universe, a pink elephant god of destruction said with scoff, and a glare a bit after Hells left to give her report. Sorry you think that, but I'm doing well to fit my role, and I think I'm doing pretty well so far, Naruto said, not at all liking how this god was talking to him. I agree with Russia, the brat is also getting quite cocky talking to your elder gods of destruction. You should be careful or we might get ticked off, a rather fat purple cat said with a cocky smirk before laughing haughtily, as if he was above him. Rumsey, Champa, both of you need to stop this right now. Zeno-sama doesn't like us fighting amongst ourselves, a bluefish-looking god of destruction said, as Rumsey glared at it down. Be quiet, Jean, this only concerns me, Champa, and the brat, Rumsey said, as he walked up to Naruto until they were inches apart. How about we settle this in a fight, you and me, to teach you some manners, brat, Rumsey said before Champa, the fat cat, patted Rumsey on the shoulder, and cockily smirked down at Naruto. I went into Rumsey, that kid needs to respect us, Champa said, as Naruto narrowed his eyes, then turning red for a second before he calmed down. Really? 2 against 1 doesn't seem too fair considering you have more experience than me, Naruto said, as he expected some of the other gods of destruction to be like this. With immense power came large egos like always. Who said it was supposed to be fair? Rumsey said with a smirk before rubbing his chin in thought with his trunk. Though I suppose if we have to bribe you to accept, I guess I'll wager my angel, as a bet, as Champa Rumsey said, visibly shocking some of the other gods. Wait, why do I have to wager my angel? Champa asked, shocked, as well before Rumsey sent him a glare. It's not like they will be in any actual danger. The kid is way too weak to win, and this way, since he'll have to bet his angel, as well, we might get some fun out of it, Rumsey said, leering over to Margarita, as he licked his lips. Naruto was surprised, as Margarita quickly appeared at his side to stop his fist from going up to punch Rumsey with an uppercut. Do not be goaded into launching the first blow, Naruto-kun, Margarita said calmly, as he relaxed his fist. Fine, I'll bet my angel if it means I can teach the brat a lesson, Champa said, as Rumsey gave him a cocky grin. Well, do you accept our terms? Rumsey asked, as Naruto narrowed his eyes at him. Why should I? I don't care about putting living beings up as an ante, and I'm not interested in fighting either of you, Naruto said before Rumsey grabbed him by his collar. Either you accept or this becomes a lot more dangerous for your universe, Rumsey whispered in his ear, making Naruto hold in a growl, as the damn elephant was basically threatening some of his worlds. He doubted Russia was going to go on a rampage, but that didn't mean he couldn't sneak in without him noticing, and erase planets here and there, and he definitely didn't want to endanger innocent lives out there like this. Except Naruto-kun, Margarita said, causing Rumsey to let him go. What? Why? Naruto asked in a whisper, as Margarita merely smiled at him. Because you can win, she said in a way that made him feel she truly meant it. You have something they don't, she added, as she pointed to his gut, making his eyes widen. Thanks for watching my video, leave a like if you enjoyed my video, and also do consider subscribing to my channel.